Hey there, Bourbon Street Joe here. Yeah, I know there's something else down here. When isn't there? That'd be a really short video for a change. Anyway, second week in a row. Shout out to Miguel and the boys at Mylitaria.com in Spain. Because along with the UME R.I.E.R EIEIO rations, happen to get 2 French rations, including this and yet another one. So it's an R.I.E.R, a ration individuelle d'exercice réchauffable. In other words, an 8-hour reheatable ration. This is menu number 7. Good till the 28th of the 9th month of 2026, so we're still in date on this sucker. It's supposed to weigh 0.82 of a kilogram or 820 pounds. Grams. Sorry. Don't want to mix metric and freedom units. This one is interesting because it is a vegetarian. So if you want to pause and check that out. If not, I understand. So this has a meal to be eaten cold, 300 grams, which is, I believe, lasagna, and it's a vegetarian lasagna, so that'll be interesting. And then we have a 300 gram entree, dal, lentils, corail. Well, dal in East Indian cuisine are lentils anyway. See what that is. 1 dessert, 1 chocolate bar, 1 pâté de fruits, 1 mouchards, I think, and a petit on de réchauffage, so a stove. Anyway, this is my first vegetarian French ration, I think. I have to look that up anyway. But yeah, so join me for this one. Be right back. Alrighty. Let's see what menu 7 will provide us for. Or provide us with, pardon me. Because the wrap ain't going to make too much of a difference, I don't think. 713 grams or 1 pound, 9.1 ounces. Yes, indeed. Well, I'll be damned. Fromage fondu au fromage bleu. So it is actual blue processed blue cheese spread. That's kind of cool. What do we have? That's I think this is the first French cheese I've actually had. 78 grams of that. We have 78 grams of dal, lentil, corail, and black dal, lentil, corail, et noix de cajou. Oh, dal is what they're calling it. It is a specific type of lentil and noix de cajou, black something. There, please. Thank you, editor. Tissues. We have our riz chauffable, petit ensemble de riz chauffage, which is your hexamine, your stove, garbage bag, and the little handle. Fang. We have, vegetarian lasagna. Water, tomato pulp, 12%. Noodles, semolina with egg. Protein textured TVP, textured vegetable protein. Emmental cheese, courgette, aubergine. I just hate how the English use French friggin' terms in cooking. So aubergines are eggplants, courgettes are zucchini, onions, carrots, cream, milk. Yeah, veggie lasagna. That's really cool. Look forward to that. And we have our 65% dark chocolate. And we have an apricot pâté de fruits. Oh, that's going to be a nice little lunch. So, yeah. I will... Who knows, I might crack in the stove and do the usual water bath and then give it a little crispy crunchel. Yeah. Might have to grab some... I wonder if I have any French biscuits that are left over, because I would even... Well, not that. I'd eat that cold, but this one... yeah, it'd be nice to maybe heat that up tomorrow. Anyway, we will be right back. Okay, hopefully this works. So, no, this is not the stove. From the R.I.E.R. That is very intact and right in there. I already heated up the vegetarian lasagna in some boiling water. And again, I thought I'd do a little crispy crunchy. And I'm going to have to keep a real eye on that because, yeah, okay. Anyway, we have our accoutrement. So in English, other stuff. So we have our lentils, red lentils with cashews. I have no idea what that's going to look like. Oh, okay. That's what's going to look like. It's apparently a paste. We also have our blue cheese. Again, I've never had cheese out of a French ration, which is odd. I always get the desserts, it seems. And I don't want this exploding or charring too much or... That's probably good. I gotta go find that match. Oh, there it is. Get that off before I burn something. Anyway, now that that's quietened down a bit, I was kind of unsure how to proceed with this. I looked for some French crackers. I didn't find some other than some chocolate. Doesn't sound like a really good idea. But I did talk to a coworker who happens to work at Walmart with me, yes, that is some M times 3 Aventure instant coffee. But I did talk to a coworker who was a sergeant in the Foreign Legion. So he was kind enough to explain to me that usually on exercise, the commissariat guys would come by with a demi-baguette, which this is not, but you do what you have to. And they would come by with a demi-baguette so you could enjoy your fromage, and they would also bring by some hot coffee. So I thought I would go with that as a little exercise. And I do not own a French bivouac KFS set yet. That used to be issued to the French Army. They have since now replaced it with that there. But it'll do. So this is lunch, but I am very, well, you know what? I'm very interested in that. And I did microwave this in a paper bag to just refresh it a bit. But I'm curious as to what these lentils, because apparently this is supposed to be eaten cold, I guess. Yeah, they are lentils. So just looking at it, it's lentils, tomato paste. There is cashew paste in here as well, which I don't really pick up on. Some of the lentils are vaguely whole, so there is some texture to it. I mean, it's fine. It's savory. Would that go better on a piece of baguettes or a cracker? Maybe. Try this blue cheese here. And again, it's just a processed cheese whizzy kind of. Yep, that's processed blue cheese. You can't see any of the blue mold in it, but you can sure taste it. It's not as flavorful, he says, being generous, as a Danish blue. Like, it doesn't have that kind of harsh blue bite to it, but you can tell it's blue cheese. Maybe we'll just go with... It's a little less liquid like Cheese Whiz would be, but that's super fun. Yeah. I have a bit extra. Baguettes. I don't know if that adds anything. Little spices in there, herbs, could be thyme, salt, pepper. Onions, aromatic herbs. Yeah, it doesn't say, but it does definitely state that it's with red coral lentils, which are organic, if that makes any difference. to anybody out there. And that has enough of a flavor. I would not slap that on the lasagna. That would probably detract from the flavor in here. That's a bit of a conundrum, isn't it? Because now how do I get at this with sheets of pasta in it without making a heck of a mess? By that, I guess, just tearing through them. Anyway, vegetarian lasagna, which looks pretty darn good. Yeah, that's tasty. If vaguely difficult to eat. Might use a bit of salt and pepper, but of course everything is super steamy because it is probably close to 0 outside, so or 32 degrees freedom units. It's definitely not as rich as a bolognese lasagna. That'll definitely warm you up in the field, though. So, no complaints there. Pierrot gourmand, pâté de fruits, apricot. Or abricot, I guess is how you would pronounce that in French. 37.5% apple, 12.5% apricot. So it's a typical French jelly bar. Probably one of the fresher ones I've ever had. Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's coated in sugar, but really strong apricot flavor. The jelly itself isn't super sweet. And then we have a 65% cacao Monbana. At least I didn't fumble through that like I did last time. It was a Mon Banana or some stupid thing I said. Not that I'm not noted for saying stupid things, but... And that's bloomed, but that's not going to affect the taste. Dark chocolate. Definitely a nice bite on that. No, not trying for mocha. But, as my friend said, you know, it's kind of cool that during an X, they would actually get some warm food. I've had that happen to me before on X. It was greatly appreciated because it was in, I want to say January. And they bought out the hay, I think they called them hay boxes. And they're just like a melamine insulated container. And we had, I believe, it probably went straight into there. And it was mashed potatoes, roast beef, beets, and gravy. And yes, it was all dumped into the same container. But it was warm and we didn't care, so... definitely a hell of a meal. And a very tasty one at that. So I'm going to finish my lunch. Be back for the way out. Be right back. Okay, so what we didn't use for a change pretty much amounts to that. 86 grams or 3 ounces on the dot. And then our refuse, uh, 104 grams or 3.6 ounces. And that is a vegetarian R.I.E.R. And I'm Bourbon Street Joe, and I'm out. Bye.